Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome back to Ramadan Chit Chat with IIUM TV. For the episode today, we have a very special guest who is an environmental activist and social media influencer who is actively promoting wildlife conservation on his social media platform. Aidil Iman Aidil, or famously known as Sunflower Aidil. So how is it
Hi.
going?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I hope you are well despite COVID-19
Alhamdulillah.
and the MCO. So my name is Aidil Iman. I'm 21 years old this year. What I
Oh,
do is mainly on social media through the platform of Twitter. I mainly advocate for issues in wildlife conservation, climate
okay.
change, sustainability, and environmental protection.
Hmm.
So that's a little background about myself.
So you are currently a student of Segi College, right? You are a mass comm student.
Yes. Yes, I'm
I
a mass
see.
communication student in my final year. I'm waiting for my final
Okay.
semester, and then I'll continue with my degree, hopefully in
Okay.
journalism.
I see. So what your next plan for degree? Any
Uh,
plan for
So my
any
next
university?
plan would be preferably an IPTA. like can't really afford to, be in a
UIA?
swasta. Oh, hopefully. No, no, I don't know yet. But I'm browsing through my options. Definitely journalism
Okay.
because I do want to be an environmental journalist.
I see. Okay. Amazing. So, Ideal,
Yeah.
since we are still in the MCO period, how is your experience fasting at home so far and what have you been up to?
So far, fasting at home during this MCO has been
Mm-mm.
quite a blessing for me because I do have the privilege to stay at home. I do come from a family that is financially stable. So everything's very good, everything's fine. But I do feel sort of like disconnected with my friends and other family members that are living outside of our homes, like cousins and aunts and
True.
aunties and uncles and so on. So I feel disconnected with them, and I do feel disconnected with things that I would enjoy during Ramadan. But I do have to acknowledge the fact that what I'm doing here, staying at home, is vital for my own safety,
True.
for the health of my family, myself, and community. And I do believe that not everyone has the same privilege as I have.
True. So far, staying at home, what did you do? Other
Okay,
than
so that, well, not really productive, because I'm a student. I think we're all students. I mean, since I don't have classes yet, so I think so far it hasn't been so productive. I've been reading a lot. Uh, I've been rereading books that I've read before, playing
I
games like
see.
Dota,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
So like playing my PS4, spending a lot of time
I
with my
see.
cats more than often.
Ah,
Uh, of course, also helping with my mother with the chores. Something that I really love doing is also, of course, advocating wildlife conservation, climate change,
I see.
sustainability through using social media. So that's what
I
I've
see
been
what you did.
doing,
I
I
see what
guess. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Due to COVID-19, we are left with no option but to fast at home this year. What are the things that you usually get to do during Ramadan that you miss about?
So definitely, I think we all miss the Ramadan bazaar, right?
Yeah,
The going to bazaar Ramadan and everything. But I think it's also a lesson learned because, in fact, during Ramadan, the amount of food waste that
waste
Malaysians accumulate is so much.
much.
It can feed, I think, about 2.9 million
16,
people or like
oh,
million, yeah,
yeah.
millions of people every day from the food waste that we
Mm-mm,
accumulate during Ramadan due to bazaar.
true.
So I think that's a very so that's a blessing in disguise because we get to limit our food waste. But I definitely miss going to to buy ay jagong and
Oh my
tafufa and
god,
so
it's my
on.
favorite. It's my favorite. I miss
Yeah,
Aizago
same.
very. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
god.
also yeah, and I also miss playing with fireworks. My machon, bunga api, and so on. But I
You
do
can
believe
still buy
at the
though.
same time, at the same time, I don't. I It's also a blessing in disguise because those sounds that fireworks make
Mm,
upset animals and upset neighbors, babies,
true,
people
true.
with PTSD, perhaps. So and also there is a waste when it comes to mercun. Sometimes people tak kutip balik kan the pop pop yang dorang
Yeah,
baling or
they
the
just
mercun
simply
yang dorang
play
baling
and
dorang tak
go.
kutip balik.
Are you one of them?
Yes, and sometimes no, I always play in my neighborhood in front of my
Okay,
lawn. So we always make sure kalau tak my mom akan marah lah for sure.
marah lah. You have
So
to
I
clean it
definitely miss
ah.
doing that, but yes. So it's definitely a blessing in disguise because we get to limit two options of waste and also pollution and noise pollution and so on.
True, true. So there are pro and con not having to go out to the bazaar and so on, right? During the MCO there.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
I believe that there are always pros and cons in
Yeah.
everything we do. Okay, Aidil, without any further ado, let us discuss our topic, which is the pandemic. A blessing is discussed. As the
Yes.
quote goes, what seems to us as bitter trials are often blessing in disguise. So, since the outbreak of COVID-19, we can see that it has brought so many changes to the livelihood. These changes could be good or bad. It begins to spread rapidly around December 2019. Since then, we have read so many articles or video on social media regarding the changes this pandemic has brought to the nature, whereby we can see many articles saying that nature is healing. In your opinion, how do you think the pandemic is helping to fight climate change?
Well, from my personal point of view, and I think from an article I just read,
Mm-mm,
so the pandemic or the COVID-19 outbreak and also the lockdowns that are happening all over the world or their own version of an MCO is not really helping the climate or the environment.
mm-mm,
Yes, it is, there is less pollution, there is less
mm-mm,
human activity, there's less waste and so on. But at the same time, nature does not have to heal at the expense of people dying or people being locked in their homes and not having to get money for their family. So it is definitely, we're seeing like the side effects. It is definitely teaching us that when we don't disturb mother nature can
mm-mm,
thrive successfully, can heal. Animals start going out and being start going out in peace, without human disturbances. But at the same time, teaches us this monumental knowledge and information that we are the cause of this environmental disaster, our systems, our unsustainable activities. It's teaching us a lesson that we can heal nature without a pandemic, without a lockdown. We are capable of the systems that can be sustainable, that can be environmentally friendly, that can be ethical, that can not only help the environment, but can also help lift people up, that can also lift small people's economies, that can give profit to marginalized communities, through community-based projects. So these things are possible, and they don't need a pandemic to, let nature heal and so on. But it is definitely a lesson for us to see how COVID-19 is teaching us that the ecosystems around us are healing because of our greed and our unsustainable activities.
So you are saying that instead of the nature healing by us being locked down, it's much better for us to be disciplined and let us heal the nature naturally, right? So much.
Yes, so yes, we have to, invest in technological advancements that are sustainable, that are eco-friendly. So that is that human race is capable of, and we're even though we're capable of greed and selfishness, we're also capable of compassion, passion, and also just kindness.
Do you mind to share what kind of like normal that you can, based on your observation, the scene that we tend to do that can impact the environment?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
What do you think about the sin that we commit to the mother nature? What are the type of sin that you mentioned just now?
Oh, type of like things that we could do to heal Mother Nature. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so basically, the things that we can
Can
do
you hear
is
me clearly?
from a small perspective. We could also do community-based projects where we could empower indigenous
Yeah.
communities, we could empower women, we could empower children, we could empower fishermen, and so on. So, you know, when we have a community-based project, so let's say farmers illegally or doing activities that are illegal when it comes to fishing, like fish bombing
Mhm.
or pukat pari and so on. So we do
Yeah,
a kind of approach saying that maybe
I
this
see.
is a replacement to that. Maybe this is how you sustainably catch fish. So
I
community-based projects give profit to those communities and empower them for them to be empowered, and they can empower other people as well within their own, kampong or their own communities.
see. Well explained.
Thank you.
Okay, so we all know that climate change has negatively impacted the animals and pollution and also plays the same role. Pollution, right? Play the same role. But ever since the pandemic begins, we can see in so many areas in Malaysia, rivers and lakes are getting cleaner and clearer. Because of that, animals are living peacefully. Like in Putrajaya, for example, we can see the otters showing up beside the
Yeah,
Putrajaya lake. Can you see the viral tweet? It's so funny. The
yeah,
otter is going up freely and all that
yeah.
stuff.
It's very cute. Yeah, it's very
It's
cute.
very
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
So, do you think that this pandemic to heal slowly and somewhat a renewed horizon for another living beings to live in a more conducive environment?
Well, yes. I mean, like, the whole thing about the COVID-19 is due to the our wildlife consumption,
So,
meaning that in countries like China, they actually, eat pangolins that has, I think, has like an identical virus genome to the COVID-19 virus. So it's a consumption of eating wildlife like pangolins that kind of like will zoonotic diseases, like COVID-19 itself. So it's a what China has taken action is actually to ban all wildlife consumption. So that's a really, really good move,
yeah,
even though they're whole when it comes to the animals that they can be traded for medicinal and pets purposes, but they cannot be traded for food purposes, meaning that it's illegal for you to eat wild meat in China for now. So that is a good step to have like sort of like move forward towards animal conservation.
sure.
Also, again, that the pandemic is teaching us that when we leave nature and wildlife alone, they can thrive peacefully.
Yeah,
When we build systems or ecological systems, like for example, the central forest line by the Malaysian government allows wildlife to move from one place to another without being hit by cars or being involved in any human wildlife conflict. So that's a good step towards so that's
I
so
see.
we are capable of systems. We have wildlife that needs a lot of like funding, a lot of grant passion, and so on.
I see. Because they are the government provide jambatan for the animals, the bridge for the animal to cross, and they made a signboard, right? So I think that helps for the animal to move from another place to another place
Yes.
and move more freely, right? Okay. Do okay. Is it clear?
Yes, a bit
Okay.
laggy, but then it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. The world.
I
Okay.
can still
So moving
hear
on.
a bit. Yeah.
Okay. The world is still uncertain when will this pandemic end. It is hoped that we can resume our normal life. Since we can clearly see the tremendous change this pandemic has caused to our Earth, in which it has been slowly healing, do you believe that when this pandemic is over, we can continue to help our Earth heal? If so, why?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last question?
Do you believe once this whole pandemic is over, we can continue to help our Earth heal? If so, why?
So the thing that basically is if we need a pandemic to let the earth heal, is that it?
So, I mean, macam, how do you believe that we can still continue healing the Earth? Like, as we know that during this pandemic period, the Earth is healing naturally as we are locked down in our house. So, do you believe that we can still continue this the healing process of the Earth?
Yes, we are capable of healing the earth. I'm sorry, but I think breaking up a little bit, I cannot hear like the full sentence towards the end. I just hear like the healing part with the nature and so on, but not really a
I
full
see.
sentence.
Okay. Do you want me to repeat back the question?
I'm sorry, I still can't hear you.
Do you do you want me to repeat back the question?
Maybe you could, in the chat, you could l- just type the question, perhaps,
Oh, I can just
because I
send you
really
the.
can't because the sentences are like yes, yeah, you can,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
because the
Okay.
sentences are breaking apart a bit. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay, it's okay. Wait, yeah. Let me see. I'm very sorry. I don't know if it is mine or.
Okay. Since we could, let me hear that again. Okay. Yes, I do believe we are capable of healing after this pandemic, after this COVID-19 outbreak is finished. I do believe that we are capable of healing nature because, as I mentioned, that COVID-19 teaches us a lesson of how we can sustainably manage our agriculture, we can sustainably manage our water, our forests, and so on. So definitely these alternatives or these good better options are available. Rather than cutting down forests, there are better ways to manage forestry. There are better ways for us as consumers to support products that are certified as sustainable. For example, is your minyak alif. I think it is certified by the RSPO, which is the Round Table of
Sandabi.
Sustainable Palm Oil.
I
So,
see. It is
these
from
are the
Sandabi,
options that
right?
we can make as consumers or as, rakyat biasa. But, in a
I
larger
see.
scale, we can let nature heal by, investing in more sustainable activities, sustainable infrastructure, and most importantly, more awareness and more empowerment of communities, especially those who are indigenous, or even children who are, our future.
I believe that it only works if we work together, right? So we all need to work together to heal the earth and make this world a better place for both livelihood, right?
Yes, betul. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so just to quote a saying, we can't return to normal because the normal that we had was precisely the problem, just like what we said earlier, what we have discussed. So, do you think that this pandemic is like a wake up call to all of us to change for the better? How do you feel that our old normal has led us to where we are now?
Yes, definitely. Our old normal is quite dangerous. We
Yeah.
have these big oil companies that refuse to be transparent. Recently, I think BP, Exxon, and Shell was actually caught for misinforming about climate change to the public. They were not
Oh,
taking climate change seriously. And I think it's a big adjustment going from oil to renewable energy. Definitely, we do need to be on the side of renewable energy, but it's also a problem for those small workers who are affected. Because they can't transition into renewable energy so easily. But it's definitely a dangerous thing when we have these big oil companies that lie and misinform to people. So that's when the new normal for us is for us to keep on criticizing companies, saying that no, this is not the right way that you should be treating Mother Nature. This is not the right way to treat your workers, and so on. So it comes in from these NGOs or these organizations like or these STEAM STEAM organizations like RSPO that can help to, because we always see, for example, palm oil as something that is like a issue because of deforestation, killing orangutans. But
orangutan.
organizations like RSPO empower not only Mother Nature, but it's also they're empowering the people who are working in plantations. So the old ways where there was a lot of deforestation, a lot of lying and misinformation about climate change was dangerous. So I think the new normal is for the young people, especially, to keep on criticizing these companies, these governments, and politicians, and so on, for them to move and transition towards a more eco-friendly or sustainable system. So meaning that it not only encompasses of Mother Nature, but it also encompasses of profit and people as well. So it takes care of our Mother Earth, but also takes care of livelihoods of people.
So I believe that media plays an important role to counter this issue, right? So as a young people, we need to voice out our words, like what we believe in. So we have to fight for the environment, for the people who are affected. That's the only way to counter following the guidelines.
Sorry, I cannot hear that last part.
So until which part did you hear?
Let me wait. Yeah, okay. All right, sorry about that. Last part that you mentioned, I did hear about the young people voicing out opinions and so on.
Yeah, I think young people plays an important role in voicing out their opinion towards the company, what they believe in, just like what you did, right? Just like what others is doing. So for the new question, in your opinion, does the big corporation play a huge part of climate change? If so, do they contribute to climate change?
I'm sorry, what? Can you repeat that part? The last
The
part, the
question,
climate
the
change part.
question is the question
Or
is
if
in the
you
private chat.
can type it in as well. Okay. Oh, okay, let me check. Okay, how does in your big corporation play a huge part in change? Definitely, the question that was sent was definitely big corporations play a big part in climate change because apparently 71% of industrial gas new greenhouse gas emissions is made by only one companies. These companies are like Shell, BP, Exxon, and including in Malaysia, such as Petronas. So definitely these companies are responsible for 71% world's industrial greenhouse gas emissions. So what they can take is on, other than their CSR projects, they can actually smoothly and, slowly transition towards renewable energy. At the same time, benefit for the workers because so learn and can invest in better sustainable infrastructures and also CSR projects like reforestation, empowering marginalized communities and spreading awareness, and so on.
I see. So, as what we have discussed, it can be said that our old way of dealing with nature or life in general has caused so much damage. What do you suggest we should do for a change, other than CSR project that you have mentioned before?
Um,
What else can we do as
so the
youngsters, as a young student?
okay. Well, I think as students, it's very important for you to voice out your opinions and be very, very, out there. There are groups like Clima or Quasipera or groups like NGOs like WWF, MNS that you can join and volunteer. So I think that's a great starting point for you. But at the same time, as young people, you could just send awareness to your friends, just perhaps today we'll learn how to compost or and so on. So teaching, you teach your peers how to do that. You teach your peers about this animal species that's extinction. You teach your friends about single-use plastics. So I think that's important as young people that you can teach them, and you can also teach your parents, your family members, your uncles, your aunties, your teachers, and so on. So that's very, very important for you to do. Awareness is the most thing to environmental activism. And other than that, I really encourage for you guys to volunteer for NGOs like WWF, Malaysian Nature Society, Clima, Quasipera, and so on. So that's a very good platform for you to learn from people who are already established in the field. Other than that, you can do at home things like gardening, things like, when you go grocery shopping, you don't have to use a plastic bag, bring your
Plastic.
own reusable bags. Those steps are very simple but effective as well.
They say that those little things are the one who make big changes, right? So that's the thing that we can do basically, like just use reusable bag instead of plastic bag and all that stuff. So I think it's very good explanation from you. So do you think that there are people who still deny climate change? If so, what do you think are ways we could do to help raise awareness?
Is it ways that we can spread awareness? Is that it?
Yeah, I have typed the question already. Like,
Oh, okay, let me check. Okay, very sorry about that. Okay, let me
it's
check
okay.
again.
I'm sorry too.
Definitely, there are still people who deny climate change. And I don't, because it's scientifically proven that this world is getting warmer because of human activities. Other than from like from our own greenhouse gas emissions, and there are people who deny that. And for us to raise awareness when it comes to climate change is definitely sending out information as accessible and as understandable as possible. If that person understands only in Bahasa Melayu, try to communicate in Bahasa Melayu climate change.
I
Don't
see.
use jargon that is too hard for people to, to digest. Use easy terms. That's how you spread awareness. You make sure that people know these things, that are accessible to them, can understand easily without, scientifically, without scientific jargons and so on. We know that the world is getting warmer, and we give to them examples that they can understand and they can relate. For example, that climate change affects our food security. So that's our food problem. Our food production is at risk. Climate change makes storms much worse. So it affects coastal communities from more extreme floods. So you send out those information that they can easily digest, but also can relate heavily on. So I think that's how you spread awareness, especially on climate change.
So basically, in order for you to create awareness, you should know your audience first, right? So if you know your audience, you can get closer to them. You can adjust whatever approach you are giving to them to match what they need, right? So
Yes,
ideal.
yes, definitely. And I
We,
saw
we
like a new question.
yeah, we
Uh,
received few questions from the viewers. This is especially for you, personal question. So can we start now? The Q&A session with the viewers.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Because
Okay.
I saw
Uh,
like a few questions. Yeah.
okay. Thank you for your explanation above. Okay, so the first one is ideal. What is your favorite animal and why? And what are we gonna have for buka? What are you gonna have for buka?
Uh, so my favorite animal, oh my God, there's a lot. But my favorite animal for right now is the Malayan weasel. So I think it has a unique Malay name, which is Pula Santana,
Pula
or
Santana.
I think Jeli Masak Pisang. Yeah, so
Wow.
yes, that's its name, local name in Bahasa. So it's an weasel that is, I think the color is orange, and that can be found here in Malaysia. So that's my favorite current animal. I also love animals like binturong. Binturong smells like popcorn actually,
Uh,
and and I think I'm having mee curry for berbuka. Yeah, so yeah, I think mee curry for berbuka. My mom's cooking mee curry
Mikari.
today.
Wow, sedapnya.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, next
Itulah.
question. Kan, I
Bila nak
macam, I
azan ni.
rasa, I rasa laparnya. Okay, so next question is what inspired you?
Itulah.
Okay, so what inspired you to become, what inspired you to want to do, okay. So what makes you want to further in environmental journalism? What inspire you?
Well, I think mainly because I'm a huge collector of National Geographic. So
Okay.
I collect all their magazines monthly. So I think based on everything that I saw in that show, I'm really inspired to be those journalists that go into the jungle, take pictures of animals and make stories, and inspire people to be more aware and more, knowledgeable about those issues. Especially, what I wanted to do in environmental journalism is tackling wildlife conservation issues like wildlife crimes, wildlife trafficking, poaching, and so on.
Okay, I have always wonder since when you are into environmental and wildlife stuff. Like since when?
Since when I've been doing all this?
Since when you start to like get into it, wanted to do more research
Oh yeah,
about the
I think
environment.
2018.
2018. Oh, so it's still new. You are still new.
18, yeah, 2018. Yeah, it's very new. I'm
Okay.
fairly new to this field, so I'm very grateful that I have a large platform that I can share. I'm very privileged, very lucky to have that platform. So, yeah, definitely. It's been not so long, kan. We're
Yeah, you dah buat macam-macam benda dah. Very inspiring. It's lagging, right? It's lagging.
Yeah, a bit. Let me check is there a question in the chat
Ah,
box?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there is one here. where should we buy clothes considering fast fashion affects the environment? Well, definitely, fast fashion is, the second polluting industry, especially because of the water usage that they have, and also the, labor rights violations that they commit. Fast fashion needs to transition to to a more sustainable business, and to look into these cases of labor rights violations, especially because most of the clothes that fast fashion produces is made by women, and they're not being paid a living wage, most of them. What we can do is that we can criticize fashion businesses like H&M, Zara, and Topshop, Topman, and so on. But also we can do a lot of thrift shopping, pergi bundle and so on,
Mm-mm.
because that is more sustainable. Also do
So,
swapping, which means like you share my
clothes
clothes,
with your
you can wear my
friends.
clothes, I
You
can wear
swap.
your clothes. Yes, your friend. You can
Interesting.
be experimental with that, or you can just, yeah, you can just go, yeah, definitely fine. And then you can, just go bundle shopping. So that's very more eco-friendly. But at the same time, when you go bundle shopping, maybe you only buy what you need. I think that's the motto that everyone needs right now for a more sustainable lifestyle, is just to buy what you need.
Do you have any specific bundle shop you went to? Like you really like that bundle store and it's really good.
Do love this bundle shop, JBR, I think.
Oh,
JBR
GBR.
bundle. I think, yeah,
Mm,
JBR bundle. Also, there's the bundle near my place. It's near the Taman Melati LRT, so that's very nice because it's very low key. No one now. Now a lot of so you can go there. It's literally next to the LRT. It's quite. I think
ah,
JBR is really nice. I think JBR. I think the name is JBR. It's located in Shah Alam, in Damansara, in many places. They have like, cabang there.
franchise dia kan? Dia punya branch.
Yes.
Okay, so next question. Mana nak volunteer kalau nak buat macam tolong haiwan semua tu masa MCO ni ada ke?
Check. Okay, so volunteering. Um, well, when it comes to volunteering, there are places that you can, especially NGOs that you can connect to. I recommend you go on Twitter, where you find, DM me on Twitter at Sunflower Aidil, where I can list out the NGOs that you can donate and also volunteer to. These NGOs include like WWF, Malaysian Nature Society, I think TCSM, Turtle Conservation Society Malaysia. So definitely check out these NGOs on Twitter, or you can follow Zoology Malaysia
Zoology.
MY on Twitter. They send out really, really good information. And also perhaps they'll, update, there are offerings when it comes to volunteering and, like job offers.
I see.
I think some of us are in the studying something related to environment, maybe internship, or maybe you want to, have a job that's related to environment and wildlife conservation. Zoology Malaysia does post things. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, search for these NGOs on Twitter and DM them or email them, or you can just me and I'll list them. I'll list the NGOs that you can volunteer and donate to.
Just follow Sunflower Idea, guys. You will get everything related to wildlife and environmental issues. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, right now I'm just in my final semester diploma, so I'm moving forward to my degree, hopefully in journalism. So after journalism has, and maybe I think a degree for journalism takes like two
Yeah.
years and a half, like less than 3 years, hopefully. So other than that, I would love to a career in any new local newspaper outlet, like the Star, and New Straits Times, or Malaysia Kini, and so any news platform I can actually have a specific outlet to send awareness about wildlife crimes issues or wildlife conservation or environmental protection issues, specifically targeting that. So I really want to be a journalist for these, hopefully the next 5 years. Inshallah.
Inshallah. I doakan. Okay, so next question is, since the MCO, many people start gardening since they have more time and they stay at home. Of course, this is good. How do you encourage them to keep on gardening post MCO? So after MCO, they will still continue to do gardening and all that stuff. How?
Well, I think consistency, to be consistent about that hobby of yours is really important. What I do love to do is to make a timetable of, actually, I do like arrange what kind of posts that I would make on Twitter, like what kind of animal I would love to tweet about today, or, what kind of like projects that I'm taking in. So kind of like invest your time in a, like a timetable frame where, oh, by 5 p.m. or, before 5 p.m., I'm going to go out and do some gardening. So it has to be consistent and you have to be passionate about it. And definitely learn about the benefits of gardening. What I'm trying to actually like persuade my parents is to do a pond for garden to attract more
Wow,
wildlife like dragonflies or frogs, because they indicate a healthy sort of like artificial ecosystem. So make sure you have that kind of knowledge that makes, oh, I'm so excited to do gardening because I'm building a pond that could attract dragonflies or butterflies and frogs and so on.
amazing. I believe that they learn a lot from this live session with you. Learn more. So, any last word from them to like maintain what they are doing now, the good thing. So, do you have any last word for the viewers?
Yeah. Uh, Sorry, apa? Last word, is it? Last
Last
word for
word.
the viewers.
Mm-mm.
So when it comes to, I think that everyone should be an activist. Everyone should be an environmental activist, but at the same time, when you become an activist or become something passionate about what's right for the environment and for the people as well, make sure that you share it with people equally. Make sure that you don't refrain yourself from sharing knowledge. Share your knowledge with people. Share them. Make sure they are accessible. Be inclusive with each other. Be in a group where everyone is involved, where no one is, put outside of the box. Make sure everyone's inside the same circle, included in the same mission. To feel included is to empower a friend, and a friend could empower another. So it's a sort of like a domino effect that everyone the same knowledge empowers them to be more vocal about their opinions and so on, and just in generally just sticking together. So I think that's a very important thing that we, the young people, young Malaysians have to do.
I believe that one should start first, then only your friend can follow you, right? So if nobody starts, then nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. That's all. I nak lagi. I want to know more.
uh Sorry, what?
No, can you hear me? Tak dengar ke? Can you hear me?
No, I cannot hear you, sadly. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's all.
Yeah.
On behalf of IMTV, I would like to thank Aidil and everyone for joining us today on Chit Chat Ramadan. Don't forget to watch our next episode with another special guest. Do subscribe our YouTube channel for more exciting content. Bye. Assalamualaikum. I hope Aidil can hear. Aidil, can you hear?